embedded in breathing, and then being able to like very consciously, support maybe the inhale whenever a patient needs to enhance their arousal or their energy level, and how to focus more on the exhale when we need to activate the parasympathetic to be able to deal with stress or even with trauma. And also, through my music therapy practice, it's helped me also like to create a systematic approach to breathing. And this brings me then to the 4 breaths we're going to dive into today. And as I just mentioned, a big, let's say, guiding point is being aware of the sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous system, and being able to activate one or the other or find balance, which is our first breath, through breathing techniques. And I just also want to mention, one of you made a lovely, Miles made a lovely, like, you pointed out, the areas that breathing supports performance wellness. And I find that this breath that we're going to practice now, the rhythmic breathing, the even breath, the balanced breath, it was something I started including a lot with here in New York. There are a lot of artists, there's a lot of competition, so there is a very big population of artists and performers who suffer from deep anxiety, and I've been able to work with them in music therapy. And one way for them to be able to deal with the stress of performance anxiety that seems to be prevalent in this area of New York, and I'm sure in many other places, is through this connection with rhythmic breathing. So that'll take us to the first breath on the next slide, which is rhythmic breathing. And in this sense, what we're going to do is focus on a breath. I'll guide it in a moment. I just want to explain it first. So what we're looking for is to find an evenness, a rhythm between the inhale and the exhale, in this way that we activate the autonomous nervous system in a way where the parasympathetic is balanced with the sympathetic nervous system, so that our energy of arousal and awakening energy is balanced with our energy of relaxation and growth, inner growth. And our intent in this rhythmic breathing is to connect with the universe at large and the rhythmic aspect of the universe. Because if we take a moment to connect with the ocean, the winds, the tides, we notice that in the world there is a rhythm within the waves, the tides, day and night. There is a deep power of rhythm happening in the universe. So our intention as we move into this rhythmic breathing is to also connect with the rhythms of the universe and to find our own rhythm at this moment. So just take a moment to sit, feel your feet connected to the earth. I'm going to guide you through a practice of the rhythmic breathing, and just feel yourself, if you're sitting, feel yourself sitting on your chair, feel the chair holding you up. Take a moment to quieten yourself, and then focus on your breath and just notice how you are breathing in. Let's inhale through the nose, exhale through the mouth. First, just notice, observe the inhale, the exhale. You can connect with an image, if it helps, of the sea, of a wave, and integrate your breathing rhythm with the rhythm of nature. And then bring your breath so that your inhale has the same amount of counts as the exhale. For example, we can breathe in, 2, 3, out, 2, 3. In, 2, 3, out, 2, 3. For some of you, maybe it's different. Maybe it's in, 2, 3, 4, out, 2, 3, 4. So take a moment now, find your own count, find what's comfortable for you with the intention of making the breath rhythmical and even, and connecting with the rhythms, the natural rhythms of nature. And as you do that, I'm going to play the drum very gently for a couple of minutes and find your own count. Connect with your own image and intent of balanced breathing. Very gently come back to the awareness of being in the room. And we would like to ask you how that was for you. So I'm going to ask Miles.
Yeah, we wanted just to see how difficult or easy was it for you to establish a even breath pattern between the inhale and the exhale, or what was the feeling of the space between the inhale and exhale? Did you feel like it existed, or was that not part of your breathing experience? So just whatever, if anybody wants to make a comment of just simply what happened when you did that simple balanced breath.
Hi, here Camilo.
Sí, hola Camilo.
For me, it was easy to have the same time on inhaling and exhaling, but finishing the exhaling I felt tense my diaphragm.
Tense, yes,
It
yeah.
was really, and also it was very nice to start just feeling the earth, the the sitting bones, and that it was very good to introduce in the breathing mood.
Yeah, yeah, thank you. Yeah, that's a good point, Camilo, because the okay, let's look at the basic mechanics of breath, right? The breath seemingly has two phases, inhale and exhale, but the right spread of the breath is four phases. There's inhale, pause, exhale, pause. Those two distinct spaces between the active exhale or inhale, they they can be manipulated in different ways, and also they can be a point of tightening, of seeing how we are holding. Um, the this the space between the breaths is when things become more apparent. And so there, for example, for you, Camilo, you have you encounter at the end there a state of some tightness in the digestion, some maybe some nervousness in social interactions that lead you to protect the area of the abdomen and keep it. Maybe you don't even realize, and many of us do this. It's very common, right? Because we are in society, we feel so judged and so pressed that we get this tight. So probably during the daytime, there is not much movement of the belly when you're breathing, and so this more deliberate attention shows up that little tightness at the end in that space. So when you are exploring the breath, um, besides this balance of in and out, look what happens in the spaces between. The other thing is, now with this balanced breath, we're looking at the mechanics of breath, right? I'm going to put you a slide, but you think of the breath as uh, it has four chambers. Let me just because functionally speaking, when you're breathing, again, just like the phases, the most obvious is two chambers, the belly chamber and the chest chamber. But you can actually divide four different chambers in a breathing pattern. The first chamber is actually from the belly button down. This very base is your root component of the breath. Maybe the first 10-15% of your breath, you want to root your breath, right? So you send your breath down as if you're trying to almost like to pee, but you hold it. So you go down there. Then comes the full belly, right? The abdominal breathing, where you're just expanding the abdomen, relaxing the digestion, triggering the parasympathetic nervous system. And then before you go to the chest, there's the ribs. And this is a lateral expansion. It goes out, right? You're trying to like push out the ribs. And then comes the chest, where you are lifting up and front. The chest is the presence, and you fill air into the tips of the lungs that usually don't get much oxygen. So